A very good evening to one and all present today. I am Professor Sandeep from the team of GIBS Business School, Bangalore. And today we all are connected as a part of GIBS IRE Talks. GIBS IRE Talks Forum brings together the inspirational speakers who are related to innovation, research and entrepreneurship. Today, we have joined for an important topic, that's the power of communication. I understand every single letter is being spoke is a kind of communication, and that's very, very important in every phase of life to have the right communication with every individual you deal with. So please allow me to share a few words about GIBS before we begin. GIBS Business School Bangalore is a place where talents are nurtured, ambitions cherished, ideas shared and dreams fulfilled. GIBS is a part of Govt Educational Trust, and GIBS offers two programs, BBA from Bangalore University and PGDM, which is an AICTE approved program. GIBS students are excited to experience the new journey with Industry 4.0 curriculum and a number of unique programs such as Innovation, Research and Entrepreneurship Program, Finishing School, Sports Management Certification Program, Business Mastery Programs and so on and so forth. I'm really happy and privileged to welcome our guest speaker for the day, Dr. Ushy Mohandas. Ma'am has an amazing experience. So ma'am, I would seek your permission. I would love to share few thoughts about you, for few things which I've got to know about you. So I would seek your permission for that. So Professor Dr. Ushy Mohandas is one of the most sought after, globally esteemed mind and leadership and communication coach. A doctor by profession, having spoken on various platforms and many times a TEDx speaker. A humorist, a voice artist, a media consultant, a published author and has been featured in many books. Juggling between 13 careers, Dr. Ushy has been referred as the Doctor of Words, Formula One speaker, as well as Dr. Tung Fu. A master baker, a handpan player, she also creates music for meditation, and more than 8 lakh people across the globe are meditating. Thanks for her teachings, and she believes we die only once, but we live every single day. Now I'm really inspired to know a lot of things which you have gone through in your 38, 39 years of your career, and you have a very, very vast experience, and I'm really honored and privileged that I'm sitting right in front of you and being a part of this webinar, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am, and a small point to all the participants. In case if you have any doubts, any questions, anything, please put it in the Q&A sections. We'll take it at the end of the session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sandeep. I'd start by saying that what we do for ourselves dies with us, but what we do for others remains and will live forever. And that's one of the reasons why I take this opportunity to extend a very big thank you to your institution, to you, to Lakshmi, to Gitesh, and to everybody that I know in GIBS. I have been a professional speaker for half my life. I started speaking when I was maybe 3 years of age. And my biggest problem is somebody needs to ask me to shut up. So I'm very conscious about your time. I'm also very conscious about the fact that I'm here to tell all of you who are here, who are sitting patiently at the webinar, the fact that anyone has succeeded and the fact that anyone has made it big in their life is only one, because they are silent, or two, because they spoke the right things. And these are the only two reasons why anybody has tasted or touched success. My dear friends, my dear colleagues, everybody who's watching this webinar, let me tell you that being nice pays better. Speaking well pays better. And speaking badly costs a lot. And that's one of the reasons I tell people that words are singularly the most powerful weapon that you have, the most powerful force that you and me own. And we own the same amount of words. So it's only how we use it that really matters. It's only how that we're going to use these words, what and when and why are we going to use these words, that matters and makes the difference to you and to me. I will not give you too much of technical jargon because I think enough books are available today. People have nothing better to do during COVID. Each person is writing 2-3 books and self-publishing. So in today's world, if you find books, there are plenty books. 90% of them are cut copy, badly pasted. So I'd ask you to come out there and understand that speaking, my dear friends, is like swimming. Even you might watch a high definition video, you might watch it many times, you might be watching an Olympic swimmer teaching you how to swim on video. If I push you down into Alsur Lake and you jump there into the dirty water in your chaddi and you start suffocating, and then you start like moving your hands and legs for maybe a few minutes until you feel you're drowning, and then you're able to save yourself up, I think only then you become a speaker. Unless you experience it, unless you're out there in the field, unless you're there trying to do something with what you have, you need not have what I have, with what you have, and doing it to the best level that you can. I'm sure that each one of us in this webinar is capable of a more superior form of communication. Point number 1, you need to be understood. Point number 2, the speaker needs to understand what to say. The speaker needs to have one message. 2 messages, not more than 2. The speaker needs to convey the same 2 messages, maybe 3 times. So repetition is key when you speak sometimes, because people's attention spans today with all your texting and gaming and, the 10-headed Ravana meme, which is going around, which says, that please say no to all these social media forms. I myself am a victim. I'm on Instagram. Incidentally, it's Ushy Mohandas. You can join me there. We have a lot of classes for students, so you're free to come by there. Let me tell you that the number 1 tool that you and me own are words. The number 1 tool that you and me own are messages. I want to give one message. Sandeep wants to give one message. You want to give another message. So be clear what message you want to deliver. If you're delivering it once, or you're delivering it many times, that's left to you. There are different styles of speaking, but today I'll be talking mostly about oral communication. So please understand that if somebody is powerful, it's only because you can move people, you can influence people, you can impact people, you can actually come out with ideas and impress people. If you want to speak to impress, you're welcome. I speak to express. So it all depends on whether you're emotional as a person, whether you are logical as a person. Now, the brain is unfortunately having only 2 halves, which are imagined. The left has nothing right in it, and the right has nothing left in it. So what happens is, like, you'll have to use both these halves to convey a message. The only tools you have, 1, body, and 2, words. I'm sure that all of you know all of this, but nevertheless, we have to work very hard at understanding that without using the mind and the body together, no message can be conveyed effectively. Now, suppose there's no video and I'm going to shut the video, your brain functions differently because then you're tuning into an audio mode only. And that's how people start tuning in when you're speaking on the phone. When you're doing a video call, it's far more effective because people can see you. People can see the lighting system of the face. None of us smile today. If I ask a student today to smile, he'll ask me why. If I ask a teacher to smile, they'll ask me why. And that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. You don't need any reason to smile. You just need the willingness to smile, because a smile is the biggest connect to the audience. Who are you speaking to? Maybe 1 person, maybe 2 people, maybe 10 people, maybe 10,000 people. That doesn't matter. What matters is your message. What matters is the meaning of your message. What matters is the movement that you're going to associate with the meaning and the message. You need to understand this. The body is a very powerful tool. So if I'm going to speak to you like this, all you're going to do is just keep watching me bob. You're not going to listen. The body can be overpowering. That's why people say what you show me is so powerful that I cannot hear what you're saying. You can ask Miss Sunny Leone. She understands the power of what it is. I'm not the right person to speak about it. But at the end of the day, let me tell you, the body is a very powerful tool. You can use it. The same way, words are very powerful, you can use it. Now, how will you do it? The first thing that I will share with you today, which you can remember maybe sometime when you're speaking, is the fact that maintain eye contact. On the online media, it may be a little difficult, but whoever you're speaking to, please ensure that you look right at them. Please ensure that you smile. Please also ensure that you have straight shoulders. It matters a lot because your brain doesn't get tired easily. So it's very important for you to remember what I call sight, smile, and shoulder, S3. Very easy to remember. So you just maintain your posture. The other thing that is, you can use your hands freely when you're on online space. You can also use your hands when you're in an offline space, but please make sure your hands don't come in the way of the message. Your hands don't come and obstruct the listener's view. Your hands don't come in the way of becoming too powerful, where people cannot hear, they can only see. So what do you call this? In terms of body language, I think in this short time, I want to convey S3, which is your shoulders, your smile, and your eye contact, which is sight. I would say direct eye contact. Always look at people, it's highly respectful. The second and the most important when you're using your body is what I would call GPS. Very easy to remember, you use it. So that's called gesturing, posturing, and how you use your stance. In my case, I'm sitting down right now, so it's not called a stance. I'm in a seated position. But when you're standing, it's very important that you don't keep your legs more than a foot apart. It's very important that you keep it less than a foot and not too much together because you're going to fall. In a comfortably spread position, especially when you're a lady, you got to be a little careful about attire and outfit. You can't wear a sari and stand with your legs spread apart like that. It looks really funny. So people will be looking at you, not listening to you. So I want you to remember gesture, posture, and stance. I also want you to remember sight, smile, and shoulder. Very important. Movement, matter, and meaning. 3M. It's a company, very, very famous company. So movement, matter, and meaning. What is movement? Always ensure when you're moving, you move within a very, very fixed radius, either side to side or front to back. Not vigorously, not and making all kinds of, oh, come on, everybody, and all this kind of things. People are animated. When you're too animated, you're close to our distant cousin called the monkey. And that's my belief system. I believe that people who are really not too animated will come across far more stronger because the human brain tends to forget everything within 4 to 6 hours of listening. Whether it's your classroom, whether it's what I'm saying, whether it's what even probably, any of the so-called VIPs are saying, or anybody who's so-called a celebrity is saying is forgotten within 4 to 6 hours. If you want a person to remember, you need to remember S3. You need to remember 3M. You need to remember GPS. Because these are proven neuro-linguistic tips. And neuro-linguistic tips means they've been researched on people. They've been researched on audiences. They've been researched in the biggest universities across the world. I'm not naming any. But at the end of the day, let me tell you, I just had a man who called me before I walked into your webinar. And he told me, Ushyji, tomorrow I'm supposed to meet you at 10. If I'm not able to meet you at 10, I will intimidate you. And he's intimidating me. He wanted to intimate me. And it's very important that you understand that in English language, words mean different things to different people. We spend hours staying connected internationally, but we don't know our neighbors. And that's the reason why I tell people speak simple English, speak simple language, speak simply where it's easy for you to remember. It's also easy for the audience to understand. And that's why communication is not one way, it's always two ways. What I said should be understood by you. And what I say must be understood by you the way I want it to be understood, not the way you think you should understand it. If you do that, I really don't mind if you don't understand me today, but I mind if you misunderstand me. All relationships depend on understanding. All business depends on understanding. Innovation depends on total understanding. Ideation depends on understanding. We've heard people say, let me give it a try. Today is a bad day. I'm not feeling okay. This world sucks. Life sucks. Everything is horrible. Oh, Bangalore, the weather is terrible. The roads are terrible. The traffic is terrible. You know what? You're building yourself for failure. People who keep talking negative, people who keep adding energy to negative thoughts, you must be very, very careful because you're not going anywhere. And that's why in this context, I'd love to tell you words are singularly, again, the most powerful weapon that you have. Use them wisely. How do you learn words? English is what we're talking about now. I speak 10, 12 languages. It's your choice if you really want to learn a language. If you're in Bangalore, try and learn Kannada. It's very important that you know at least the basic minimum language. Why? Because that's the only tool that I have to communicate with you and you have to communicate with me. Why shouldn't you be communicating? There's not one reason, except when you're married. And that's on a lighter note. But let me tell you, you must practice your communications. And practice of words comes in with learning new words. Every day I read at least 3 to 4 newspapers, 5 if you can, at least read one. You will get at least one word that you don't know the meaning of. And you can go and look it up. And once you go and look it up, you'll understand the meaning of the word. And there you have your vocabulary increasing by 1 word a week for 4 weeks, 1 word a month for 12 months. 12 to 18 words in 1 year is very good in the next 5 years. You don't have to learn 10 words every day. You don't have to buy thesaurus and by heart it and try and become a terrorist. Now, he's a distant cousin of a terrorist, I'm told. So I just don't want you to come and use big words. Like if I come and now tell you, I like to exercise voluntary control of my bladder muscles, you won't understand. But if I told you, mujhe susu karna hai, you will understand. So you really need to understand that simplicity is stylish, simplicity is sophistication, and you must practice simplicity. This is my belief system. You can do anything that you want. There are no rules to communication. There are no absolute rules to communication. It's always a speaker's experience. And I'm speaking from my experience because people are ready to pay you money when you speak. People are ready to share, and it forms a source of income. You too can form a source of income. So there is 3 things again, other than the S3 and the 3M and the GPS. Please remember, if you become a good communicator, you can walk in with confidence, or you can walk in with anxiety. The choice is yours. If you become a good communicator, you can impress everybody. You can influence everybody. And at the end of the day, you will become the #1 power in the room, which is going to influence and get people to do what you want. Extremely important in innovation. Extremely important as an entrepreneur. I want you to invest money in my business. Why the hell should I? And that's where the convincing ability comes in. So what do you call this? You speak either to impress or to impact, but very important to influence. And that's why you should learn to master your communications. It's the #1 power that you have. It's the #1 power that I have. I've been working. I'm still working. I'm almost 40 years into communicating. I still learn today. When I go out of today, I'll go and make 2, 3 lines as notes because I learned something today. What can be done better? What should I do less of and what should I do more of? The last and the most important, if you're a good communicator, you will never, ever miss an opportunity. Many people have missed opportunities because of poor communication. They could not gather the support. They could not go ahead. They could not do anything about what they need to not miss in their lives, which means that you're missing an opportunity. So you might as well brush up your communications. Now, if you have any questions, Sandeep, I'd like for you to just check. If there are any questions for me or anything specifically that you want, are you okay with what I'm sharing? Please let me know.
Ma'am, first, there's only one question as of now. Let's take up right away. So it says, Ashwin is asking this, is expression equally important in both verbal and non-verbal language?
Yes, expression is really important. If I say I'm feeling good and my face is, it means you know I'm not feeling good. So there needs to be a connect between what you're demonstrating physically and what you're using verbally. There needs to be synchronization, as we call it, because what I'm showing, you say, hey, that's surprise. And that you can make out because I'm raising my eyebrows. You can make out in the tone of my voice. And I'm going to get to that now because I'm not going to share too much. I love your questions. You can keep asking questions so that Sandeep can ask me. I can throw more light on it. I prefer an interactive session. And I told him, please show me your face because I don't want to talk to the walls. And I'm not used to talking to the walls because I'm generally one of those item girls who loves to come and speak, and people should throw, things and whistle and stand up and scream on benches and all that. We've done in many colleges all this. So I want to tell you that a woman with a voice is by definition a very strong woman. So I might come across as someone very strong. I am. And I've gotten work done through speaking. I've earned money through speaking. I've changed lives through speaking. That is very important. What you speak to yourself and what you speak to others, anyone who comes to me has never gone back unhappy. Whoever has come to me and spoken and gone away, I've spread happiness and love. How? The use of words. I've met people who spread hatred, who spread sadness, who spread a lot of things which are not necessary in today's already very, very busy and chaotic world. And I want you to remember this clearly. Now, like I said, unless you change your thinking, your experience will remain the same. So from today, I want you to just start thinking, ki kya karu main? What should I do to brush my communication skills? Anything, even if it's charcoal, needs to be brushed, needs to be having friction for it to become a diamond. So if you don't brush yourself, if you don't do things, if you don't practice, remember the Alsu Lake, if you don't fall into water, you don't make mistakes, you don't improve your vocabulary, this is not going to happen. Because at the end of the day, you can't just be a born communicator. You have to practice. You have to learn. You have to identify what am I comfortable with. I speak from my heart, direct dil se. And that's exactly what I'm trying, it's like, DDS. It's not a degree, direct dil se. And believe me, that's the most powerful form of communication. You can be a happy guru like me, or you can be a sad guru. And you can have a very good PR department. So I'm just trying to tell you that at the end of the day, you can talk. And you can talk, but talking is not communication. Communication is two ways. Please remember, when I speak, it should reach you. And when it reaches you, you should translate it into a message. And finally, when my message and your message are the same, we have communicated. So what should we do first to communicate? Connect. How do you connect? First thing, use your eyes. Second thing is, use your extremities. For example, hey, you can use word and use your hand. You can stand and speak. You can smile. You can nod. You can go closer to people. It's called leaning in. When you lean in, people tend to focus more. So what is this called? Connecting. You have to communicate, one, to connect. After connecting, only please convey. The biggest mistake people make is you convey before you connect. And it's like having a Geo SIM when you have an Airtel tower. Nothing happens. You're wasting your time. You're wasting somebody else's time as well. So what should you do? You should communicate to connect. And once you connect, please convey. How do you convey? Through practice, preparation, words, and what we discussed. Smile, shoulder, the GPS, which I told you, the eye contact, which I told you. All of these things come in handy. So once you connect, you convey. When you connect and convey, don't forget the most important part in business. You have to convince. Many of us forget. They think ki kuch bol de and everybody understands. No, that's not the truth. You need to first convince. And finally, the most important part where you look at some speakers and you wish ki, hi Baba, ye buddhi kab mar jayegi. Stop boring me. And you know what happens? That is called conclude. You need to have a very powerful conclusion. You start, you connect, you convey, you convince, and then very importantly, you conclude. It's really important for you to remember these things because then there's no value in what I'm sharing because all of these things are there in Google University. Aap sab to doctorate ho. And at the end of the day, we are all, polytechnic schools of WhatsApp. Put lemon under your arm, put garlic in your ear, put chili in your underarm. All this came during COVID, None of that works. But at the end of the day, all of us will not trust what I'm saying unless you go to Google. Please, these are all real life experiences not available on Google. And what's available on Google, unless you do it, please don't subscribe to it. This has been done, tested over and over, successful and failed and learned and improvised for almost 40 years. This will not be given in any book. And I want you to remember these words: movement, matter, meaning. Don't forget sight, smile, and shoulder. S3. Gesturing, posturing, and stance. Always straight speakers, straight. When you say straight, just sit comfortably straight. Don't sit like this and speak. When you yourself are tired, nobody wants to listen to you. So that's called GPS: gesturing, posturing, and stance. If you're seated, no problem. Rest comfortably in such a manner where you don't get tired. Any questions, Sandeep? Are there any questions there? You're muted.
I'm so sorry for that, ma'am. I mean, the moment you said any questions, there are a lot of questions which have come in. So let's go ahead with that.
Let's deal with it one by one, because that's very important.
Yeah, Ashok says, ma'am, thank you so much for 3S and 3M. And Jay Kumar Surya Narayan is asking, learning is the first and foremost thing for a teacher. Okay, let me go ahead.
I agree.
Tan-
I'm always ready to learn.
Tanpreet Singh says, how to engage the audience and how to identify whether they are interested or losing the interest in our topic.
I'll take a minute on this. Very important question. One, look at their eye contact. Second, see their 3S. See if they're smiling at you. See if they're nodding. See if they like you. Likability is a #1 phenomenon in speaking. If they like you, sab kuch chalega. If they don't like you, you might bring a Nobel idea, but it still won't work. So you need to check their smile. You need to check how they are receiving you. Are they coming forward to look at you? Are they looking at you? Or are they trying to avoid you? You need to understand this, because if they're interested, they look at you. And extremely important is the audience participative. Are they nodding? Are they raising their eyebrows and saying, "Ha, ye baat theek hai"? And are they looking at you interested and willingly? The next thing is, if they're not interested, all you can do is what we call bring attention to. How do you get attention? One, use a quote. To live a creative life, we must lose the fear of being wrong. Say something heavy. Say something like, I've been in a bad mood for 40 years. And people will wonder, what? And they'll come back to you. You can use things like, for example, now there's no real safety except self-belief. And people will wonder, like, what is self-belief? And so you're creating curiosity in the mind of the listener, asking questions. So a sharp question, a good question, a logical question, a sensible question, a current affairs question. Okay, if I say mitro, I don't need to say anything. You will understand. So that's exactly what I'm trying to say. You need to be current. So once you get the attention of the audience, then you start conveying. A question is one way. Who in this hall is happy and married? So you'll have people who are thinking and they also want to participate. So what are you doing? A good quote, a great question, a short story. Okay? Every 20 seconds in India, one child is dying. And then if you're going to tell them a story, people are definitely interested because you're talking about other human beings. People are definitely interested because you're not gossiping. You're talking about reality. You're talking about the truth. There's a beautiful example I'd like to give you, that I believe there's a film actor who went and spoke to a crowd in Kerala. And I believe everybody loved the speech. Kya dialogue, mara, acting, everything, everybody applauded. Immediately after that, one very poor looking man with a torn lungi, he came and spoke to them. And he spoke with so much of passion. He spoke with so much of energy. He spoke with so much of self-belief that that evening, 5 buses were burnt in the same city because of that man's influence. It might be a good influence. It might be a bad influence. But the power to influence is something that all of us have. If he can or she can, even I can. Now, I hope I'm very clear. A quote, a question, a short story, or a shocking one-liner. Sometimes silence also. If you just keep quiet for some time, people are like, what happened? What happened? Why something is not coming? That power of anticipation is there. So you can use anything. Any other questions, Sandeep?
Yes, ma'am. We'll take a couple of questions more and then probably
Yeah.
we'll again get
Yeah.
back to the
Yeah.
content. Mr. Ashok asked, my question is, how do we practice 3S and 3M?
By doing it,
That's a nice way to
in front of
answer.
an audience, by looking at every chance that you get, either online or offline, to just please look at people and speak to people, speak through you to people. And it's really important that you understand that the end result is you have something which is your brain, you have the listener's brain, you're using the media which is available to convey a message. Using a media to convey a message is communication. The message being same from the sender and the receiver. If the message gets distorted in the middle, that means we have failed. We have not done a good job. Like, tomorrow if I don't come by 11, I'll intimidate you. I'm like, huh? Since when? So, this is exactly what I'm trying to say. When I went to Gujarat the other day, somebody came in and said, can I have your pen? And I didn't have any pen. So I was wondering, what is he asking for? He's asking for a pen and paper. So they say pen for pen. In India and every region, we have different dialects. In Gujarat, they don't call you important person, they call you important person. So, for a man, it can be extremely humiliating, but they don't mean it. In Kolkata, you have balls ice cream. You don't have walls. So, every single place, there is a different dialect, there's a different pronunciation. You have to learn to understand and use it as well. So the power of words, like I said, don't forget to connect, then you convey, then you convince, and you conclude. Now, very importantly, just two more things I'm going to share, and I'm going to take more questions. I want you to remember that the body is a very important tool. We already discussed gesture, posture, and stance. When you're seated, it's fine, but otherwise you can use fine gesturing. Like, I want a little bit of salt in my rice. For example, 2 years ago, my hair was not so great. Now, I've stopped dying and I've started living. So if you look at things like this, you can use your fingers to denote quantity, to denote proximity, to denote the present and the past, to denote elevating things and to denote something which is avoidable. And that's exactly how you can use your gesturing. It's a very powerful tool. Please remember, in body language, you can use gesturing to add, everything that you use should be to add value to your message, to add value to your communication, to add value to the impact, to add value to the opportunity. Communication adds value, basically. The next and the most important, after which I'll take one or two more questions, is remember your voice. It's called tonality. And tone is very important when you speak. Emphasis. You can use your fist to emphasize. You can use this, you can use this, you can use this. You can do so many things. Emphasis. Now, emphasis can also be by using your eyebrows. You can unfurl and furl your eyebrows. You can raise your eyebrows. You can say, wow. You can pop your eyes. And you can do so many things to show enthusiasm, to show importance. So what is this called? Use your voice effectively. How do you do that? Just remember many P's. Pitch, pace, power, pause. At least 4 P's you can remember. So instead of the S's and the 3 M's and the 3 S's, now you can remember 4 P's. Pitch, based on the distance between you and the audience, where are you throwing your voice? A nice vertical pitch is pitch. And when you do this, it's volume. A horizontal springing is volume. And you can look at the vertical springs. So both of them together form the pitch. Very important, the power. I hit him yesterday. I hit him yesterday. I hit him yesterday. It means in no other day except yesterday. I only hit him. I only hit him yesterday, which means other days I didn't hit him. So the same sentence you can keep changing based on the tone. It's called power. Pitch, pace, pace. Can you believe that it's not raining in Bangalore today? That's slow pace. But if you're saying that every single day in Bangalore, everywhere on every road, there is a pothole, and you find 100 people who are going to collapse in that pothole, what is that? You're going faster and faster and faster because you're getting emotional. You're attaching more importance to the emotion behind what you're saying. So you can use pace. Don't speak too fast because people will not understand. People will not hear you. All human beings listen and understand about 9 to 14 seconds after we say it. 9 seconds minimum. So from my mouth to your brain, it takes a few seconds. So it's really important for you to understand pace. And that's why I tell people, speak slow and speak clear. And brevity. Speak less. Don't speak too much. People will wish that you would shut up, then you speak. And that's one of the reasons why we tell people be very crisp and specific. Crisp and specific. Can you see? Sharp. Otherwise, it becomes the other way. And it spreads the message. So you remember pitch, pace, power, and pause. Hey, you know what? In Kannada, you say Nimappa Nai Taktara, which means your dad is not a dog, but when you stop there, it sounds like that. And you get the attention of the audience, and then you say, Saktara, is he breeding a dog? Your dad is a dog breeder. And when you stop in the wrong place, the whole meaning of the sentence changes. Like, for example, I went to give a talk in Demands, and somebody introduced me, and the talk was about change. And they said, Dr. Ushy ma'am has come here, and she's expecting. And everybody was looking at me like this, is umar mein, budhape mein bhi jawani ki josh. And then finally, at the end of the day, I looked at him and said, expecting what? Oh, expecting change, expecting change. So if you stop at the wrong place, things can go really, really wrong. I want you to remember body language. We already discussed the 3S, we discussed the 3M, the GPS. We also discussed the 4P. Is there anything more there, Sandeep, that's coming by? I can see a few questions.
Yes, ma'am. Shalini Kumar asks, sometimes lack of confidence also creates barrier in communication. How can we deal with that?
Yes. Breath. Breath is very key to communication. Whenever you feel lack of confidence or you feel that you're not comfortable in some ways, all you have to do is 6 deep breaths. You can press your index finger to your thumb, okay, and just keep pushing your nail into this. This neurological reflex will slow down your hormones. It will slow down your anxiety. If you have a glass of water, nothing like it. It keeps your throat nice and hydrated. It keeps your brain also very functioning. It's really useful for you to understand that if you're not nervous, don't speak. Because people who are not nervous are very boring speakers. And they put people to sleep. So nervousness is a good energy. They call it butterflies in your stomach. But help the butterflies to form beautifully and keep flying. So fluttering in the stomach is allowed. You can control it with breath. You can do this small practice which I showed you, a glass of water. And when you're prepared, definitely you will not be nervous. That's why they say unprepared speakers have the right to be nervous. Because you don't know why you're here. You know what? If you have to give a 5-minute speech, you have to prepare for 5 months. If you have to give a 5-hour speech, you have to prepare for only 5 minutes. So the more concise the speech, the more prep that goes into it. Anything else, Sandeep? Anything else?
We'll take one more question, ma'am. What is the main purpose of communication? It's about influencing others or something else?
1 is about sharing a thought. 2 is about sharing an emotion. 3 is about sharing an idea. 4 is about not losing and capitalizing on an opportunity. And very important, the power to influence another person. Everybody wants power, right? We are powerful in a good way. So if you want to influence somebody and you have 1,500 followers or 50,000 followers who are definitely going to do what you want to do, you have a cause and you also are going to get the cause out into the world. You're going to be performing at a much larger capacity than me alone, me with 50,000 people. And that's why you can create instruments of change. Every single person who's created change has been a wonderful speaker. Every single person who's been responsible for good things in the world and bad things have been great speakers. That's why I keep telling you, speaking is not it's about good things. Religion, for example, can also become very toxic. We have large, good speakers. So they turn around and convert people into hatred. And I believe that religion is private practice. Every religion has space in the world. You can do what you want, and I can do what I want. But we do it in our closed private spaces. And that's the reason why I'm a peace-loving non-vegetarian. But I know of violence-loving vegetarians. Believe me. So it's a matter of choice. And that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. You can shut people up using certain phrases. You can influence people in a good way and allow them to live better lives. You can allow them happiness. I'm a counselor. I got thousands of people who call me up saying, I'm not feeling comfortable. I feel like dying. Half an hour of conversation, they want to not die. They want to live. They want to change the world around them. You can make so much of a difference to other lives. And that's why I call impacting lives. And to me, it's been about influence and impacting lives. And that's why I'm a mindful speaker. I'm a heartful speaker. They say when your mind is not connected, please shut up. The mind and heart have to be connected. When I speak to myself, I use my mind. When I speak to others, I use my heart, which means I add emotion, compassion. You have sympathy and empathy. And all speakers have to be very empathetic speakers. When you're sharing, you've got to share from your heart, like I said, not speak because you want to impress. Because what happens in such cases, you might say things you don't believe in. You might be lying. You might be a prepared speaker. You might be saying something which you learned from somewhere and you don't even do. So at the end of the day, how honest are you? Honesty is key to great communication. How honest are you as a speaker? So it's important for you to develop honesty. It's very important for you to understand that all great speakers are honest. You might be straight, you might be blunt, you might be sharp, but you're honest. The most important, be authentic. Be who you are as a person. You can never forget you. You can never forget details related to you. If you need to talk about you to somebody, you can talk for 10 hours because you know best. And it's called ice breaking. Learn how to ice break with audiences. Learn how to ice break with entrepreneurs. Learn how to ice break with venture capitalists. Learn how to pitch properly, which means that another person needs to be convinced. And you need to convince before you say bye. Many people say bye quickly. Many people say hi quickly before connecting. And it's very important that you realize without connecting, there is no hi, and without convincing, there is no bye. Any other questions, Sandeep? So many are there, yeah?
So many are there. We will just take a few of them now.
Take 2 or 3 of them. We have 10 more minutes.
Yeah. So, very good evening, ma'am. My name is Mainak Ray, belongs to West Bengal. My question is how to improve my communication skills.
One is enroll yourself in various organizations. Many organizations are there, okay, starting from the Rotary to the Toastmasters to private people who coach to coaches like us. They're all available and you can always come and speak and learn. No need to listen and learn. Listening is also a very important part of speaking. But if you want to be a great speaker, you have to first learn to listen. Once you learn to listen actively, then only you can become a good speaker. So I ask you to enroll ASAP as soon as possible in the nearest possible, most economic form, which is available to you. Get yourself a mentor, reach out to people. They'll be more than happy to help. Is there anything else?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can you please Sagar is asking this question. Ma'am, can you please suggest some of the ways to improve our vocabulary?
Yeah. One is read books if you can, audio books. Listen to audio books. You can read books, buy simple books. You can buy fiction, non-fiction. You can buy any of the books that you like to read. You can buy a magazine. You can buy a newspaper. You can talk to people who know English well so that you can pick up all languages, maybe local languages, any of the language that you want to improve. You have to start picking up first the bad words. पहले गाली सीख लो, बाद में सब automatic अपने आप आ जाएगा. So then all you have to do is like learn words by reading and by listening. When you read and you listen and then you use it, once you use it, it's inside your brain. And that's why you need to learn to use words fearlessly. Any word. You can have the burning desire to do some learning and you take the turning. You don't worry. Accent doesn't matter. Queen's English does not matter. The Queen only is not there. So at the end of the day, English is not a language. We can do whatever we want with it, provided you understand the message. Provided the listener understands the same message that I want to convey from my brain to your brain. Speakers must be well-meaning. You cannot be selfish. You always have to convey meanings which are selfless. Speaking is being selfless. Speaking is about sharing a part of you with others. And that happens when you're speaking. It forms connections. It forms bonds. It forms relationships, whether it's a teacher or a student, whether it's a teacher and a teacher, whether it's a student and a student, whether it's somebody who's going to mentor you, handhold you, whether it's your parents and the children, whether it's a spouse, husband and a wife, whether it's just a sister or a sibling, everything is about communication. Good relationships are only through smooth, seamless communication. If you're keeping on going up and down with all kinds of road humps, it's like driving with a Ferrari on a road which is, full of potholes. It's of no use. You don't feel comfortable in spite of the car. You don't feel good in spite of the road and the car. And finally, when you don't have a good partner next to you, it's a waste of time with the Ferrari and with the stupid road that you have. Is there anything else, Sandeep?
Absolutely, ma'am. Kindly elaborate yellow journalism and its social role.
Please don't watch television at 9 p.m. It's a shooting match. And the nation doesn't want to know. And I've told these guys many times, stop screaming. It's not the horn of the train that pulls the train forward, it's the engine. So making loud sounds and shouting does not mean anything in terms of news or in terms of communication. You can have the softest and the most silent person who can be the most powerful speaker. You don't need to have a shouting match. Yellow journalism is because most of the organizations are paid for. Most of the political parties and most of the people who are either rule makers or rule breakers, they all own certain agencies. And when I work for a particular agency, I have to keep screaming and shouting good things about this agency. You become evangelists. And that's why you end up writing things which are wrong, maligning people, gossiping, not reporting non-judgmentally things. So yellow is very judgmental. Yellow is very wrong. Yellow is very, very tangential. Yellow is deviant. It takes a lot of courage to be straight and take a view, no. Report as it is. You may form a view, you may form a view. My job is only to report as it is. Not saying that's good, that's bad, this is nice, that's not nice, and quantifying and judging things when you're reporting. So yellow journalism should be not banned, people should be shot dead. I don't believe that as a doctor, if you see a virus or a bacteria, you should just say, "Acha bacha, ghar chale jao." You should finish it. So when you see things, when you see rot, and when you see deep and very deep as it is today with the advent of social media, people should come together. And believe me, I have brought change through communications. I've introduced NEAT in this whole system. I run something called Doctors Against Corruption, and I've changed a 60-year-old system in India. I've abolished Medical Council of India. We've got so many people that we have got now today supporting the motion where single-handedly, with the support of people using communications, so much change has been done in the world. Please Google Dr. Ushy Mohandas. You will see all the work that I have done. and this is not paid for. I don't have a search engine optimization. It's on its own optimization. Truth optimizes itself. That's exactly why I said truth is speaking, truth is communication, truth is sharing, truth is powerful, truth is expression. And I think it stops there.
That's really amazing, ma'am. I must say that. And there's one I see. There's one student, I believe, Anand Kumar Tiwari, who says, ma'am, how to face B school interview? What good skills should we bring on face to it?
You put me on the spot, my dear, but still let me tell you. As far as possible, you need to be to the point. As far as possible, you need to listen to the point well. You need to also understand, if you don't understand, it's okay to ask again. And it's also very important to understand that if there are 5 people in a group, all 5 of us are different, so you need to respect differences. Accept similarities, but respect differences as well. Learn to speak polite. Learn to listen intently. Don't be afraid to speak your mind, and choose the right words which are polite, courteous, and meaningful. That should be the way forward. Always be an original, never be a duplicate.
That's the base mantra of everything, I believe. So, ma'am, Mercy Pasala, again she says, can you please repeat 4 P's?
Pitch like you pitch a ball. So you pitch it forward, you pitch it above. Hey, when you're saying words, you pitch it above or forward. So that's called pitching. Then you use power to add power to the word in the sentence. Use power, use your voice to add power. Use your speed of words, number of words and speed of words is called pace. And finally, of course, the pause. Remember, Dr. Ushy is expecting. So it's called pause. Just pause. Great. Pause before the punch. You pause and then you give the punch. That's when the brain actually says, wow, ye kya ho gaya? Ting, ting, ding. And that's exactly what's left to a speaker, not boring people.
Great, ma'am. Thank you so much for that. There's one nice question which I could see here. Rahul Dey is asking, ma'am, how do we deal and get attention from an adamant people?
Squeeze their necks. Ignore them. Ignore them. Adamant people will be minority. If you're doing one-on-one, then there are different ways. It's called strategic. There's strategic ways, conflict management, and there's acknowledging them. Then there's appraising them. And then there is, at the end of the day, going around their thinking and agreeing with them, and then coming back to your side. So these are all negotiations. But if the adamant people are a minority, please ignore and focus on the majority.
Great. Ma'am, last question for the evening we'll just take up. While speaking on stage, how can we ensure right use of the space so that the moving around in the body language is neither less nor too excessive?
No, I personally don't like to move around. Moving is very distractive to many brains. And moving around can be extremely distractive. I saw a lady who went to give a speech the other day, and her salwar kameez, her kameez had gone inside her butt. And when she got up and she's talking about world economics, everybody was only looking, ki ye kahan ja raha hai? Where is this kameez going? And she was walking up and down. So I can tell you the physical body is very distracting. Minimalistic movement is okay. You need not use the whole stage. That is just a myth. If you're comfortable with your body and with the limited space around you, it's more than enough to take one round of the entire audience, because every single person should feel like I'm also included. She's looking at me also. She's talking to me also, which we lack in this online space. But nevertheless, I'm making it a point to ensure that most of you are here and feel wanted and feel addressed. So I want you to remember that maintain eye contact. It's called a pendulum movement. So you can just swing your head and start moving your eyes, and you can move your head, you can move your eyes. You need not move yourself throughout the stage. It becomes more of acting sometimes. And people like it, and it's an individual choice. I move minimalist, but when needed, I might take a walk a little bit and very slowly come back. I might move on one foot and I might move on the other foot, so that people feel that she's including both sides of the audience. Sometimes I'll say, hey, you guys, So I point out to the back, which means I'm also including people at the back.
Great. Thank you so much, ma'am. I think first of all, I would like to apologize the participants because lack of the time, there were so many questions which we had to live it across. And I'm sure ma'am is very, very active in Insta. So I'm sure we can utilize.
And please join me. I'll be very happy if you can write a story and write down what it is. You can also please take a nice, shot and put up a story and tag Ushy Mohandas. And you can find me on every social media channel, starting from LinkedIn to Instagram to Facebook to Telegram to everything. You can find me, except on Pornhub. I think I'm everywhere else. Okay, so you can find me anywhere. And on this note, I would like to tell all of you a big thank you. Gratitude should be expressed. And the institution, GIBS, thank you so much for having me and for giving me this privileged opportunity. Like I started, I'll end by saying, Sandeep, whatever we have done for ourselves dies with us. Whatever we have done for others remains and will live forever. You die only once. You have a chance to live strong every single day. Have a fantastic evening. Please stay in touch. That's one of the reasons why I communicate, because I like people. It makes a big difference when people are in touch. I look forward to having some young friends. Friendship has no age. So you can be friends with anybody. You can learn and you can teach as well. Like somebody said, you must always be a learner. Of course, yes. And you can always be funny. Humor is the only commodity that never gets wasted with use. It never becomes less with use. So always learn the lighter side of life. Enjoy laughter, enjoy the evening. And I hope and I look forward to hearing from all of you. Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would like to extend. I'm really honored and privileged. I must say that it was an amazing session, ma'am. Thank you for blessing us with all the knowledge what you have been through. And I have few takeaways which I must say things to remember is like, as you said, 3S, 3M, the GPS, the 4Ps, the 4Cs, which you said, connect, convey, convince, and conclude. I would take all this and I make sure that I implement it. It's not just the takeaways. I will make sure that I'll implement this in my day-to-day activities or the communication. And I must say, I must also thank ma'am for taking out your time from your schedule. I understand you're really busy with a lot of assignments. Thank you so much for that, ma'am. And I would like to also thank all our participants for always being with us and supporting us in every possible way. Thank you so much. And just a small information. Do follow ma'am as well on all the social media platforms. She's available. She's really very active in all the medias. So I'm sure we can connect everyone. And do connect GIBS as well. GIBS is also very active in all social media platforms. This webinar will also be posted on the YouTube. Probably within a couple of days, it will also be live on the GIBS channel. So in case if any of the participants have missed out on anything, you can review this particular video and you can jot down the points which will help you, I'm sure of it. And just one more small information. The next webinar is on 20th of October and that's on the future proofing businesses. And this is being given by Mohammed Saiful, a trainer from Singapore. So looking forward to see you again. And Ushy ma'am, thank you so much for being with us. I must say I had the amazing time with you and the learning experience with you, ma'am. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody. And thank you, Sandeep, for being there. I anchored all my energy off you and it's really nice to meet you. I hope you'll remain in touch. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, GIBS, and thank you, Lakshmi. Thank you so much.
Thank you.